welcome to You Know What, the podcast for you that dispels the myths and BS in the fitness industry whilst leveling up your A game in everyday life. We are your hosts, Nick Finch and Dan King.
You know what? Welcome to You Know What. So,
Welcome.
shall I hit you with a you know what?
Huh?
So today,
Yeah, go for
you
it.
know what? Yoga was invented in 2700 BC.
No way, it's the first time I've ever heard that.
That's mad, isn't it? It's not like it's not like we did things that we
Wait, this is real? This is true?
Oh my god. Well, we were just talking about it previously, and I mean, it was one of the earliest physical disciplines to exist, which means, as we were saying, mindfulness was a thing that they touched on back in the day.
Yeah.
So people were looking into mindfulness. People were probably chewing on ginseng roots for ashwagandha, like probably even smoking marijuana, but they didn't.
What's
class it
crazy
as that.
is that if you took away modern technology, I feel like we've done this before already. If you took away modern technology, then 2,000 years ago, these human beings were thinking probably the same way we're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably smarter than us because they have to rely on their brain more than using a computer device.
Yeah, do you actually think that we've got so reliant on it that we don't actually fully express our thought patterns properly?
There's a movie where humans get dumber.
Really?
Yeah. And have you seen WALL-E?
Yes. Oh, yeah. We're going into WALL-E. Yeah.
They're dumb and they're fat on those wheelchair things that like drive them around everywhere. That's the future. Like, you know, would you say they're smarter than us now?
No, but they made moving chairs that don't need wheels.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But they've probably got access to more information than we do. You know, but it doesn't mean they're smarter individually. And if you go back 2,000 years ago, imagine humans then. You said they built the pyramids.
Built the pyramids, yeah.
Upside down triangles.
Upside down triangle.
Crazy.
No, they're triangles.
normal
triangles. An upside down triangle would just be
triangles.
like that. Yeah. But it's mad, isn't it? If you think about
Imagine that. That'd be crazy.
You know what? I would then be definitely convinced that aliens have made it.
Yeah.
Do you think aliens have made the pyramids?
I'm 51% certain they did. 49% certain they didn't. So I'm inching 1% slightly in favour that it wasn't humans.
I think there was some aid. I think there was some kind of aid from somewhere, not necessarily alien-based. Yeah. It could be something that now doesn't exist. But we're never going to know that because, look, let's be honest. If you did a project to yourself and you built a giant skyscraper, but you had help from loads of people, but actually those people died before you got to release it, would you still include them or would you just claim it all for yourself? I mean, I'm a nice person, so I'd be like, these guys help me. But I'm sure people out there back in like Tutankhamun's reign would have just gone like, nah, mate, you're dead. Fuck you.
There's a theory of human existence called panspermia.
Panspermia?
Yeah, which is where potentially a comet came to the Earth with life on it that created life on Earth, or an alien species came to Earth and implanted life here, or potentially implanted humans or mixed the DNA with monkeys to create humans. Pretty crazy.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
I know we originate from apes. I know that. Like, actually, Year 3000, bullshit movie.
Is that Jack Black?
That's the Jack Black one. Bullshit movie. I know it's a bullshit movie anyway.
Jack Black is so good, but that movie was...
But technically, it shows even in the caveman area that these people weren't apes. So we were like we are. They were showing like we are now, then. Historically inaccurate.
There's still apes now, so they didn't evolve.
No.
Why did they not evolve?
Why did some evolve?
But
that's why we're Homo sapiens, aren't we?
Yeah.
Whereas if you look at gorillas, they're something else. I wish I knew the answer to that. But
don't know, but there's a missing link apparently.
I was about to say Homo erectus, but that's just, I know that's something completely different.
That's, what is that? What's Neanderthal? Is that Homo erectus or is that Homo something else?
I don't know. You guys can let us know in the comments for our historians out there.
Yeah. Okay, no, anyway. I want to go off topic if I do that.
Yeah.
So mobility, you're talking mobility, very important, super important. When you're younger, you don't have the same level of interest in mobility, I don't think, unless you get an injury.
No. It's not cool, is it?
No. And then as you get older, you get achy, etc. I worked in lockdown in a bank, working from home. I went from being a PT for 9 years to working in a bank. And basically, my back, my knees, my neck, my eyes, everything.
My pussy and my crack. Sorry.
I
don't know where that came
I knew you had a pussy, man. I was waiting for you to say that.
It just came to me.
I was like, there's no bulge in your pants, man. Why?
No,
What's going on here?
Tell me about it.
So,
Sorry, I was real careful.
Where were we?
You're talking about working in a bank and how you were immobile. Sorry, I'm such a child when it comes to these things.
I always knew mobility was important,
Yeah.
but I've never had a problem with mobility ever until I worked at a bank. I'm working at a desk for 8 hours a day. I can tell you now, it destroyed my body. So that's crazy.
Ooh. That's right, and there's going to come up. Mate,
you can't. Flow state, man.
I know. Oh, I'm crying.
It's crazy. It's crazy. We've lost track.
I know. Oh, okay. Whew. Composure, man. Composure. Sorry, it just, I don't know why that just sent me on that tangent. We do apologise for any audio listeners that you had to listen to my high-pitched screech of laugh.
I've now got to go on YouTube and put this as not friendly for kids.
I do that anyway.
I've now got to turn explicit on.
Ah, yes.
I'd do it anyway, to be fair.
Technically, do you think we get copyrighted for me singing it? No, because I was less than 3 seconds.
No, wait, can you?
You can get copyrighted for songs that, like, if you put longer than 3 seconds, I think that's a myth, but I think if you put longer than 3 seconds in any video clip, you get copyrighted.
You get copyrighted if you try and build the pyramids yourself.
What if you build them upside down?
No.
But if you build them upside down, that's not copywriting.
If you could build the pyramids, the size of the pyramids without it collapsing,
But have you not seen, like, for example, you see some marketing campaigns nowadays, Audi. Have you seen some of their food they make?
Oh, yeah, I thought you meant the car for a second.
Not Audi, Aldi.
Aldi.
Aldi. Yeah, Aldi.
We've lost it, man. We've lost it.
Anyway, sorry. I'm
so lost.
I'm digressing. Sorry, it threw me. Anyway, going back to mobility. This is an important area that I kind of wanted to conversate over anyway. Yeah. And you're saying, as you've aged, you've realised the reliance on it. I think we are becoming a more informed generation between mobility now. Yeah. I mean, there's people of your age upwards, who, again, in the industry have even turned around. These are older entrepreneurs. So these guys have been in the industry for a long game. Yeah. And these guys, we look up to him. For example, Jamie Alderton, I look up to him. He's a cracking guy. I have spoke to him once. It's like,
did he wear your jeans?
No, we're talking, that's Darren.
Oh,
Darren wore my jeans. So Darren, if you're ever watching this, mate, I've got exposure.
Has he still got your jeans?
No, well,
you got them back?
No, I got them back, but okay. I only, at that point in time, when I was a poor person working at IFS, I only had one pair of jeans.
How amazing do your jeans fit him? Like, imagine if they didn't fit him.
I don't know if that's an offence to me, because I felt like I had big legs at that point in time, and they were just fitting different people.
I can just imagine him walking on stage and your jeans on his legs are overflowing, like they're underneath his feet.
Mate, I've still got the video. I mean, I could literally clip it in and be like, this is Darren Cartel wearing my jeans.
If I was there and I had jeans and he had to wear mine, he'd be so in trouble.
On the bright side, Darren actually thanked me on his story and I got 1 follower.
Did you?
So I got a collab and got 1 follower who later unfollowed me as he realised I wasn't posting for the entirety of the weekend and I actually wasn't an important person. I was just a kid working at an event. But I tell you what, working backstage at IFS, fantastic. Because again, going to the mobility topic, going back to that, I got talking to some people in like the pre-show kind of drinking session that they do, and I got talking to some people there, and we were talking kind of about like modern era, where we are, and kind of where content's going. We got a mobility conversation, and the conversation was about how important they now see it as part of their daily routine. Like for Siobhan O'Hagan, if you've ever heard of Siobhan O'Hagan,
yeah, man, that name, mate, I can't remember.
Bright ginger hair.
Do you know what? I need to see a picture.
Yeah, I'll show you later.
No, I do remember that name.
Siobhan O'Hagan, she now does mobility daily. And I mean, there's loads of apps out there for mobility. I'll be totally honest. If you're creating your own mobility routine, I think you need to include 5 exercises that you enjoy doing that hit 5 different joints. Yeah. So for example, I start with the neck. I then move to thoracic spine. I then move to lumbar spine. I then move to hips. I then move to ankles. That's it.
Interesting.
That's what I do for each area. If you've got, for example, with my back problem now, I do 3 around my lumbar spine. So I try and learn how to flex better. And that's why I say, if you've got a shoulder problem, do more around your shoulder joint.
So with mobility, there's like, it's almost like, you got exercise, you got compound, your isolations. Mm-hmm. With stretching, you've got your core stretches. Mm-hmm. That stretches kind of everything like...
World's greatest stretch.
Yeah, general stretching around all the areas. And then you've got localized stretching for injuries like you, where you need like a certain specific
manipulation.
Yeah. And so I've actually got a stretch routine with my clients that takes 3 to 4 minutes, stretches every muscle in the body.
Mad.
Every muscle.
Talk us through it. I want to hear this.
And it's So if you're like a yoga, you're probably like, oh, well, it doesn't stretch the peroneus or something like that. But anyway, ignore that. Basically, I got a little flow. This is the routine. This is how we do it. You start off going into what we call the baby pose, which is basically yoga. Yeah, it's where I can't actually show you right now. It's a podcast, unfortunately. Baby pose, which is where you're lying on the floor like this, and then you go up into the cobra, where you push the
like
chest
half
up.
cobra.
Yeah, or half cobra. Then we go into opening up the hips. We do the world's greatest stretch. Then we do the thread the needle. And then we do 1990 stretch. And then we stand up and we do hamstring stretching, quad stretching, calf stretching. We do a thoracic extension stretch. We don't do neck stretch, but we can add that. Then we do shoulder rotations and chest. And it basically stretches up everything that is primarily needed for like biomechanical movement, except for like localized stretching, like biceps, for example, or whatever.
See, I want to go into that a little bit, and you said in there about neck stretching, something you don't look into. Now, I think, I mean, I'm not a flagship for it by any means, but I watched a influencer, as I like to call him, a yoga influencer, who did this kind of, it was a neck articulation, so it's literally just running your neck round. So again, it's like find back, find front, find side, find side.
If I do that, I crunch. Like if I do this, it crunches so much.
Well, I crunch when I start doing it. I literally do 5 one way, 5 the other way. And then throughout the day, there's no neck pain. I have no, like literally, I feel so mobile when I'm moving left and right. And it means like, I don't know, if someone shoulder barges me, I can, I've got that quick sideways profile look.
That's so important for text neck.
Text neck?
Text neck.
Text neck.
When you're texting.
Oh, when you're like this?
Your head's like that. A lot of people that are staring at screens or on their phones, they tend to have like a forward leaning of the neck. Like this, and it turns out you got this weird looking movement here. Yeah, giggity.
Giggity.
That's what it reminds me of. So text neck is actually as much development here. You need to strengthen this, but mobilizing this can help with problems with that as well. Physios out there, they're gonna everyone's gonna argue about like the specifics of like certain things, but in general, if you're a desk worker, your back needs to be mobilized. You need to stretch your hip flexors. You need to obviously stretch your knees. All right. You need to stretch your ankles.
That was me stretching my knees and ankles.
If you just stretch every joint, you're pretty good, right?
You're pretty, and this is why I think you do stretches you enjoy as well. I mean, it's all good giving someone an exercise, but if someone hates the world's greatest stretch, you're not going to do it. Let's put it that way. That's the foremost. Nobody likes doing things they don't enjoy. And everyone's like, do things you hate. I'm like, nah, look, you're here to live a life. Do things you enjoy. If you hate that stretch, don't do that stretch. If you hate that exercise, don't do that exercise. For God's sake, I haven't done Bulgarian split squats for ages. People are like, it tells your legs are little.
It's so much better. It's such a good exercise.
It is a good exercise, but I hate it. And I feel violently ill when
Dynamic versus static stretching. Now this, it might not be as relevant now, but it definitely was a few years back. Everyone was saying, oh, well, dynamic stretching is not static stretching, you shouldn't do it before exercise because you'll lose power in the muscle. Yeah. Now, what do you think? Because I've got an answer, but of what I think. But what
look, I'm going to modern day research what I was taught at uni. Now this was 3 years ago. Modern day research for me, I think dynamic before you train. But my whole routine is you do a cardiovascular warm-up to get the blood flowing around your body. That blood's now in your muscles and your joints, and your synovial joints are a little bit lubricated. And then you go into dynamic stretch.
Yeah, lubricated.
Lubricated. Make a song.
You do the voice when you're doing, when you're going off. You do
I do a voice. Crack. Yeah, it's, you know what? This is the thing. You've seen like The Simpsons, and it's that monkey clapping in his head. That's what goes on in mine. But my brain doesn't do that. My brain doesn't do that. My brain just sends these things to my head and like, say it. Don't be a bitch. Say it. And I'm sitting here. Anyway, I was talking about where you go with mobility routine. So cardiovascular warm up into dynamic stretching for me. I think you should stretch if you're doing a training session, I think you should stretch the movement patterns you're about to use. Yes, you could use extra ones. For example, if you're doing a bit of an internal hip rotation exercise, do internal hip rotation. You could stretch everything, which again gives good coverage. But I think for people that are watching, most likely going to be entrepreneurs, you guys are going to have 45 minutes to 50 minutes to train. You don't want to be sat there stretching every single body part for 15 minutes. You want to be done in 3 to 4 minutes. So for example, if you're doing a squat, you want to work in your external rotation. You want to be working a little bit of internal rotation just to give you a little bit of leeway. And then obviously any kind of work in your lumbar region, but then static to finish if you don't want to feel like sore. Plus, apparently, it aids in recovery, doing static stretching post-workout. It increases blood flow around to the areas that have been damaged.
I think everyone would say it does. Like if you do static stretching, regardless of what the science says, I think you feel much better anyway.
Yeah.
But you're right. I think the same thing as you. Warm up, get the synovial fluid, get the muscle warm.
Yeah.
Then stretch. If you've got like specific mobility issues, like say tight ankle, Achilles tendons and calves, which means that you find it hard squatting deep, then stretch that out statically because that will help. But don't stretch everything off statically. Do dynamic. I will stretch off statically if I'm not really fussed about doing like heavy lifts. If it's like a pump workout and I feel like I want to do static stretching, it's no problem because I'm not looking for power. Like if you're looking at those micro gains and you're a top level athlete, then maybe be more concerned with it. I don't think it's necessary to be too concerned if you're like an entrepreneur that's trying to, you know what I mean?
I'd agree with you. I don't think you need to overwhelm your session with static stretches.
There's no, like you'll see people say, oh, it's not good to do it that way. Just do what feels good.
I want to put something out there. I mean, the same thing for us. We're going to market the podcast to the people we think that we want to watch it at the end of the day. Everyone on social media does that. So if you're naive to it, let me open your eyes to it. People market podcasts, people market reels. And of course, a lot of people know that. But you need to understand that when you watch something, when someone says, don't eat this, they're marketing to a certain market. And don't fall into that. You need to keep your own general opinion of things. Because they're obviously doing it, like someone could be doing it to pregnant women, and they're like, don't eat this because it's bad for your mobility. But it might be bad for mobility in pregnant women, but not for John, who's 24, who started his own online business, who's currently really sprightly and healthy. Like, he hasn't got a child growing inside. Well, you bloody well hope not. But that'd be very strange if he did.
Man. You never know these days, man.
2023.
Actually, on that point, there was this is relevant, by the way. This woman.
I like how you make a point of it's relevant when then I off key. Mine's just completely not relevant.
I say it's not. No, I say when I say relevant, it's relevant to today. It's not relevant to the topic.
Oh, cool.
There's a trans woman or trans man. I can't remember which one it is.
Oh, yes, I like this one. Go.
Yeah. She's suing her parents for giving birth to her because without her permission. Without her permission.
Ah, yes. Sorry. Wait. I remember the time that an embryo went, hey, mummy, I don't want to be born. Like, when was that a thing?
Was it American?
I don't know.
I say it was American, man.
Was it in America?
Might have been. She might have identified as Iraqi or something. How do you know?
She's probably identified as an iceberg. I'm just saying, like these things just kind of they aggravate everyone because it overcomplicates things. And obviously, the law's the law, but these ways kind of bend the law, don't they? It's almost like bend the knee to me. Oh, this is going to be really controversial. Bend the knee to me because I'm not confiding within the normal regulations because I feel like I've been done wrong.
Yeah.
You know? And at all. I know it's going to spark a few people, but it's true. Look, we all live in a society. A lot of things controlled. I get it. People don't want to worry about being injected with needles and getting microchips in their arm when it's like AstraZeneca were doing their jabs. I get that. But when people are sitting there suing their own parents who went through a hell of a lot to have that child, can you not just be grateful for the fact that you're on this planet?
Well, I mean, I can't imagine the court would rule in the favour.
The judge would just look at him and go, "You fucking idiot."
Yeah. Well, we can, obviously accept this court case under the provision that if you win, we will euthanize you to take you off this planet. Maybe that is the way.
Yeah.
Who knows?
There's always dodgy dealings in there.
But that is a controversial topic itself because I don't think we have it legal in this country, do we? But there are a few that do.
You made a point about trans, and again, we made a podcast on trans athletes in sport. Have you seen recently? I think you put it on your story about a trans man who won. Was it you or was it MASH?
Yeah, no, I did.
A trans man won a race and absolutely blitzed this race, and all the women in the actual competition.
By cycling, wasn't it? No,
I can't remember what the race was. But they won the race by a significant margin, and the women on the podium, he was like, "Oh, come stand at the top," and they just kind of look at him and go.
The problem is, I've seen videos of like women at the top of their sport talking about how they've like sacrificed everything in their life to get
like
to
even
level.
children, giving birth to children, like it can affect you that level.
Yeah, but they sacrificed everything to get to the level of top level athlete, and then out of nowhere, a man identifies as a woman. After obviously they've got to meet criteria with hormones and whatever, they come into the sport and suddenly dominate because of the build that they've had like most of their life building. You know, it's awful for women, man.
Do you think,
Awful.
this might be controversial,
Yeah.
do you think there should be a category? I know we're talking about mobility here, but do you think there should be a category for trans athletes to compete in their own bracket?
Yeah. I think that's what you have to do. Like, you have to let women have their own bracket, if you can define what a woman is, of course. Men have their own bracket, and then trans can have their own. Like, that's what disabled people in Olympics do, right? They have
Paralympics,
that's the one. I was trying to think of the name.
Disabled Olympics.
Disabled Olympics. Paralympics has its own category.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's got many categories, hasn't it? It's even got visually impaired. It's got different categories for visually impaired.
Now, I'm not saying you put trans athletes in Paralympics. You put them in Olympics.
Definitely don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Laughing inside. Put them in the normal Olympics as their own category. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do.
No, I agree. I agree. I think it's an important aspect. And also, here's a question. This is an interesting one. Do you think when, for example, say you've got a really immobile man, has a lack of mobility, man with a lack of mobility, do you think if they went for a transition into a woman, they'd become more mobile because naturally women are more flexible than men? Or do you think they'd still have that lack of mobility? Even though technically when we're talking about hormones changing, estrogen causes increased flexibility within joints, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. That's why women are more flexible because estrogen creates more flexibility through ligaments and tendons.
So flexible. So much estrogen through my veins right now.
I mean, one thing I actually wanted to point out is something some people have noticed, but I naturally have gynomastia around my chest. I don't know if you ever noticed it. It's this part here. So I have gynomastia around here.
I was going to mention it, man.
Yeah, well,
Thank you. Lately, man.
But you know what? Since I've gotten older, obviously it's become more prominent. And I kind of just wanted to touch on this. I know we're talking about mobility again. I'll keep bringing that up, but I think it's a really important topic for a lot of young lads out there.
Yeah.
Boys, perfectly natural stuff. Like, this stuff does not affect my confidence on a day-to-day basis. And I just kind of wanted to point out, as your chest gets bigger, it will become more prominent.
Yeah.
There are surgeries that can reduce it because I've seen how it happens.
It's the only way to reduce it.
It is the only way to reduce it, 100%. And I mean, for years when I was younger, I was so self-conscious of it and so kind of like worried about man boobs and like my chest not sitting right. And now I'm like, man, you got banging titties.
To be fair though, steroid users, a high percentage of them have this problem as well. So, you know.
Well, you see, like, it overhangs, doesn't it? It tends to like overhang. Like, my chest technically stops probably about there, and the rest is fat. It's all squishy.
Is it?
Yeah, it's squishy. I'm not going to get you to start touching my tits, but, you know.
Gynomastia.
Mastia. Yeah.
That's the one.
But yeah.
It's hard fat tissue. It's not soft and squidgy.
Mine's soft.
Is it? Okay, my bad. Yeah.
I'm just sitting poking my nipple.
This is what happens when you hear bro science.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, talking about mobility anyway, we were talking about that kind of changing. Do you think someone who goes for a transition becomes more mobile due to a change in hormones?
Yeah, no, I really don't know, to be fair. That's a really complicated one. I would imagine that, like, if you've got a male body after like 20 years and then you transition, that your flexibility wouldn't be the same.
Do you think it would change almost? It would change.
Yeah,
I do think so. I think so. I think, you know what, mobility is such an interesting topic. And I mean, I train a yoga instructor myself. Big up Kat. Much love. Yeah, Kat does, by the way, just a big shout out to Kat. She's a yoga instructor in Southampton. If you want to get your yogi on.
So this was the yoga in the park.
This is yoga in the park. She's got like 200 people there in the sun, which is mad. But this also says how popular it is. Like, yoga is such a popular thing because people see the benefit of it. And until you get a big group together, like when Joe Wicks does his performances for like activity, you don't realize how many people actually realize how important it is. We sit here on our screen seeing this come up and be like, oh my God, mobility is important. But then you just sit on your chair continuing to scroll about cat videos. But until you see people taking action, you don't realize how, you know, how much it grows. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's cool. That's cool.
It is cool. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's a cracking podcast from us, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I think we're done. Mobility is like, there's so much more we can go into, like, as always. But as long as you're staying mobile, like, the importance of it is the most important. So the most important thing is that you're staying mobile. Yeah. Because if you don't, you're going to have problems.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a cracking podcast. Thank you ever so much for listening, guys. Make sure you like, share, follow, and subscribe on all social medias. We've got some big old guests coming in soon, haven't we?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, mate.
We got a list.
So excited for these guys to come on. And we're going to talk all things within their designated areas. So we'll make sure we obviously get the best content out to you guys. If you are watching on any of our socials, please make sure to drop your comments. Make sure to leave a review on the podcast because we really appreciate everyone that's watching. We're growing quite well at the minute. I think we're really impressed with how much we've done. So just keep it for coming, guys. You guys are awesome. Me and Nick are obviously we're growing stronger as the days go on, and we're going to continue pumping out great content.
Top man.
Catch you guys later.